Hello everyone, this is Umida with you. The theme topic for today is research skills, learning how to effectively find, evaluate, and synthesize information from various sources. Whether you are writing an essay, preparing for a presentation, or solving problems, research is key to finding the right information. But it's not just about finding information, it's about finding the right information. Yes, the right information. Evaluating it critically and putting it together in a way that helps you make sense of the world around you. In today's lesson, we will learn how to effectively find information from various sources, evaluate the quality of that information, synthesize the information to build your own understanding, and answer your questions. Finding information. It is the first step in research. As we all know, the initial step in any research process is finding relevant information, with the vast amount of data available online and offline. Knowing where to look is crucial. Types of sources. Research can be conducted using different types of sources, each offering distinct value. The first is primary sources. The second is secondary sources. And the third one is tertiary sources. What are the primary sources? These include original research studies, interviews, surveys, or direct observations. Primary sources provide first-hand information and are highly valuable in academic and scientific research. Secondary sources. These are sources that analyze or interpret primary data, such as articles, books, and reviews. Secondary sources are useful for understanding broader trends, theories, or historical contexts. And in tertiary sources, these include encyclopedias, bibliographies, and databases that provide summaries and overviews of various topics. While these are helpful for getting a general understanding, they should not be relied upon for in-depth research. When the speech is about the primary sources, you can have some observations like primary sources provide first-hand accounts or direct evidence about a topic. These include original research papers like studies, experiments, surveys, and clinical trials. The next is interviews and surveys, like direct data collection from individuals or groups. And the next is historical documents, as original documents, diaries, letters, or legal records. Raw data. These are the data sets, statistics, or original reports from government agencies or private organizations. When the speech is about secondary sources, we may explore as secondary sources interpret or analyze primary data. Those include academic journals, book and textbooks, reviews, and reports. Here is a question. What are academic journals? These are articles that analyze original research, offering perspectives or critiques. And the next question is about books and textbooks. Those are comprehensive summaries of primary data, typically written by experts. When it comes about reviews and reports, you can face to meta-analysis, literature reviews, or summary reports that combine information from multiple sources. Let's observe some tertiary sources. As we know, tertiary sources compile and summarize information from primary and secondary sources. These include encyclopedias, guides, and handbooks. What are the encyclopedias? These are dictionaries, encyclopedias, and online databases that provide broad overviews. When we talk about guides and handbooks, we can have the data about reference materials that condense key facts, principles, or methodologies. In the next part, we will observe research tools and techniques. To find quality information, leverage various search tools. For this, you may have this listed information: academic databases, library resources, search engines, and leverage online tools. When the speech is about academic databases, use tools like Google Scholar, PubMed, or Explore to access peer-reviewed articles, research papers, and journals. You may have some information about libraries. Those offer access to both physical and digital collections. Many universities and public libraries provide access to specialized resources that may not be freely available online. And next, about search engines. Google, Bing, and other search engines can help you find a broad range of information. When we talk about leverage online tools, you can have tools like Zotero, Mendeley, or Evernote can help you organize research and manage citations. Allow me to talk about evaluating information. For this, you should ensure credibility and relevance. Once you have gathered information, the next step is to evaluate the quality and reliability of your sources. In any age where misinformation is rampant, being able to critically assess sources is more important than ever. Here you can have some key criteria for evaluation: authority, accuracy, and bias. When the speech is about authority, you may face to some data, as who is the author or creator of the source? Are they an expert in the subject area? For example, an article written by a recognized scholar or a government agency is likely to be more trustworthy than an anonymous blog post. And the following is accuracy. Is the information supported by credible evidence or references? Look for data, citations, and references to ensure the claims made are well-founded. When we talk about bias, consider the perspectives of the source. Does the source have an agenda or bias that might skew the information? Academic journals, for example, are often more neutral than opinion articles or commercial content. And the other two key criteria for evaluation are relevance and currency. In relevance, you should explore, does the source directly address your research question or topic? Avoid wasting time and information that doesn't contribute directly to your objectives. And about currency. Is the information up to date? In fields like technology or medicine, outdated information can be inaccurate or irrelevant, and you should have proof about the information that you have prepared. Let's talk about authority and authorship. One of the first factors to consider is the author. While looking for sources authored by, you should consider author's qualifications. Does the author have a relevant academic background or professional experience? And you should consider that institutional affiliation. Is the author associated with a respected institution or organization? When you face to accuracy, check the accuracy of the information by verifying facts against other credible sources. Reliable sources should cite their references and provide evidence to support claims. And they also should avoid presenting unsubstantiated opinions or speculative statements. They also should contain peer-reviewed or published material that has undergone rigorous scrutiny. In the next part, we will talk about bias and objectivity. Be cautious of bias in a source. bias can skew information and present a one-sided argument. You should consider purpose, language, source affiliations. When you are considering about purpose, you should give some questions like, why was the information created? Is it meant to inform, persuade, entertain, or sell something? When the talk is about language, you should give yourself some questions like is the tone neutral, or does it appear to push a particular agenda or viewpoint? And about sources affiliation. First, find answer to the question, does the publisher or author have any conflicts of interest, such as financial support from organizations that benefit from a particular argument? When we talk about relevance, you should assess the relevance of the sources to your research question. Information is only useful if it directly contributes to the topic you are studying. Does the content address your specific research objectives or queries? Is the source up to date, especially if you are working in fields like technology, medicine, or policy where information evolves quickly? And about currency. For certain topics, especially in fast-changing fields like technology or medicine, currency is critical. Check the data of publication to ensure the information is current. However, older sources might still be useful, especially in historical or theoretical research. In this video, you will have some data about using evaluation tools also. Some tools and strategies can help you evaluate sources, as using evaluation tools, peer-reviewed journals. When the talk is about using evaluation tools, you can have some tools and strategies that can help you evaluate sources. When we are talking about peer-reviewed journals, I should number the articles published in peer-reviewed journals are usually highly quality and trustworthy because they have undergone scrutiny by experts in the field. And let's talk about synthesizing information or drawing meaningful conclusions. For this, you can have some observations like synthesizing information is about taking the research you have found and weaving it together to create a comprehensive understanding of the topic. This process involves comparing, contrasting, and integrating information from multiple sources. Okay, what is synthesis? Synthesis is a process of combining insights from different sources to generate new ideas or perspectives. It's more than summarizing or listing facts. It requires critical thinking to draw connections between different pieces of information. Synthesis involves analyzing, integrating, drawing conclusions. And for analyzing, you can have some data about breaking down complex information into components. And in integrating, you may have some data about combining different pieces of data, viewpoints, and research findings. When you are drawing conclusions, you should have formulating new ideas, arguments, or insights that emerge from this integration. Here I can list some steps to synthesize information as identifying key themes, comparing and contrasting, integrating evidence, creating a cohesive narrative. For identifying key themes, you should read through the sources and extract the most important points or recurring themes. What are the key arguments or findings that emerge from the literature? In comparing and contrasting, look at how different sources address the same issue. Are there contradictions? Can you integrate different perspectives into a unified narrative? Or when the speech is about integrating evidence, you may use the information you have gathered to support your own conclusions or arguments. This may involve paraphrasing or quoting directly from the sources, but always be sure to give credit through proper citations. For creating a cohesive narrative, as you synthesize your findings, try to build a logical structure or flow. This could be in the form of an outline, a concept map, or even a draft of your final work. Synthesis is often the most challenging part of the research process, but it is where the real value of your research emerges. When the speech is about techniques for effective synthesis, you may have some information about concept maps, outlining, summarizing, critical working. In concept maps, visual tools like mind maps or concept diagrams can help you visualize relationships between ideas. In outlining, organizing information hierarchically in an outline format helps clarify how different pieces of information fit together. In summarizing, while synthesizing, focus on summarizing the essence of sources and their relevance to your research question. When it's about critical writing, when synthesizing, it's important to present a balanced view, critically engaging with each source rather than simply repeating what they say. I can number some practical tips for mastering research skills. They are staying organized, developing a research questions, and being critical and skeptical, citing your sources, practicing, and critical writing. Avoiding plagiarism, staying critical, and seeking help. The first tip, staying organized. Use tools like Zotero, Mendeley, or Evernote to organize your sources. Take notes and keep track of citations. And the next is about developing a research question. Before diving into research, clearly define your research questions or problems. And when the speech is about being critical or skeptical, you should question everything. Don't accept information at face value, even if it comes from seemingly reputable sources. Engage in critical thinking to evaluate arguments, assess evidence, and spot logical fallacies. When you are citing your sources, you may always provide proper citations to give credit to the original authors and to avoid plagiarism. The next tip is about practicing. Practice, and practice. Research is a skill that improves over time. The more you engage with different sources, evaluate information, and synthesize it into meaningful conclusions, the more proficient you will become. The next talk about critical thinking. When synthesizing, it's important to present a balanced view, critically engaging with each sources rather than simply repeating what they are using, they are saying, or they are telling. And the next tip is avoiding plagiarism. You should properly attribute all sources of information and ideas to avoid from the plagiarism. You should make sure to follow a constant citation style. And seeking help. Don't hesitate to ask librarians, professors, or colleagues for assistance in finding or evaluating sources. For staying critical, approach all sources with a critical mindset. Not all information is equally valid, and part of the research involves questioning the validity of evidence. In my conclusion, I can say research is a critical skill that extends far beyond academia. Whether you are tackling a complex professional problem, writing an academic paper, or simply exploring a new area of interest. The ability to find, evaluate, and synthesize information will help you from accurate, well-informed conclusions. As the world becomes increasingly digital and data-driven, these research skills will continue to be valuable assets for anyone looking to navigate the overwhelming amount of information available today. In the end, I will not say goodbye. I say see ya instead. Yet we are just beginning. See ya!